So what's next up for this project is getting that engine out. Probably gonna pull the intake and all that stuff off of it so I can just pull pretty much the long block. And then we'll go to work on the engine, and once it's out, be able to clean up the frame as well. The engine's pretty exposed with the bodywork missing, obviously. Here is what started this whole project for me, and in the direction it's going, is this terrible little electronic feedback carburetor. They are overcomplicated and a lot of times don't work well regardless of application. And I'm sure in 1983 this was the new hotness, but now it's just antiquated junk. You know, on top of that, the engine in this thing isn't huge, but current 4-cylinder cars have throttle bodies, you know, noticeably bigger than the opening of this carburetor to feed an engine half the size. So going to the fuel injection with the 4-barrel manifold, that in itself should make this engine really wake up. With the added other changes, it will, I think, be a pretty reliable engine that can move this Jeep right along. Alright, it's always fun the first time you pull an engine on something because inevitably there's some little trick to getting it out of the frame. So we're going to find out what happens. Hopefully it goes smooth. It's an older vehicle, not a whole lot to it, but you never know. We'll see this.
Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. We rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. We rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. We rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. Bangarang. Bass. Bangarang. Shouts to all my lost boys, we rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts to all my lost boys, we rowdy. Shouts to all my lost boys. Shouts. Bangarang. Bass. Bangarang. Bass.
Just make it as clean looking as possible. It's not going to be a show vehicle, but
Bangarang. Bass.
okay, just looking at this cylinder here, you can see the cylinder wall is not in terrible shape. doesn't have as much of a ridge as you'd see on some older high mileage, high use engines. Piston's got some carbon deposits. That's pretty normal. Doesn't look too bad. So I'm not feeling terrible about reusing these pistons at this point, and probably just cleaning up that ridge a little bit and honing the cylinder, new rings, and I think that'll do just fine for the top side of the rotating assembly. The bottom side, however, a little bit different story. You look at like the crank, you know, this main bearing here, that groove is absolutely not supposed to be there. And the rods, you can kind of see that center's got a little bit of scoring. This one's got a few grooves in it. You can kind of see right there by my thumbnail. So the bearings are hosed for sure. The crank is in similar shape, so it's definitely not going to need to get ground. And do that, this thing should be pretty reliable.
All right, so we've got the engine basically torn down. Just got to pull the pistons and the bearing halves. Not a big deal. We'll start cleaning up a little more detailed, get the cylinders honed, engine back together. That'll save that for another video. You know, if you're liking this and want to help keep me motivated, you can follow me at HoDozer Off-Road on Facebook, HoDozer_garage at Instagram, and HoDozer Garage on YouTube. And I will keep making these videos until someone tells me to stop. And even then, probably won't stop. Thanks.